All right, guys, Higgy here. This is chapter 2 as we study and run through the book My Life Without God by William Murray, the son of Madeline Murray O'Hare. Maybe use this as a devotional if you want to, because I'm going to start each little video with a scripture. Remember that Madeline Murray O'Hare was the lady that had prayer taken out of school, and this is her son William's story, the son that she used as a pawn to get prayer taken out of school back in the early 60s. So the scripture I want to start with is Jeremiah 29:11. Let's read it. We might read a couple scriptures here. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. Then you will call upon me and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. God has plans to prosper us. Even in the middle of this story, God has a plan, and that's a big, big deal. All right, there's a couple of places I want to read in here, but first one is about, it's a little bit long here, but it's about William's father. In May 1954, the family gathered to celebrate my 8th birthday with a dinner party. It was a particularly special occasion because my father, whom I could not remember having met, had been invited to the event. He arrived, and while the adults exchanged strained and awkward greetings, I noticed that my father was tall and strongly built and had chiseled features. His hair was salt and pepper, and his eyes were pale blue, unlike mine, which were light green. Although my father tried, it became obvious as the party progressed that he did not fit in with our family in the little row house. He was from a wealthy Catholic family, one of 13 children. Before dinner, he folded his hands, bowed his head, and said a prayer, something unheard of in our home. After we ate, I opened my presents, and my father's gift to me was a model of the B-52 bomber he had flown during the war. The party ended, and as he was about to leave, he gave me the only hint I ever received of what was in his heart toward me. We were standing somewhat alone, and he squatted down to my level. "Goodbye, son. Happy birthday. You're a fine boy," he said. I thought I saw a tear in his eye, but before I could be sure, he leaned over and kissed me squarely on the mouth. With that, he strode out the door, leaving me startled and confused. I have never seen or talked to him since. I just would like to read that because it kind of lays a background of where the family was and what was going on. The whole book is just blows my mind about the circumstances that this family was in, and about how close any of us could be to these same circumstances and possibly making the same goofball decisions. But because Lord knows I've made a lot of goofball decisions, and my family was I had a great family home. But my point is, it kind of gives us a background and a little insight into where the family was and where his mother was, Madeline Murray O'Hare, and why she was able to foster up such intense hatred for the gospel. And you need to read. I encourage you to read it. I'm not going to go through this entire book, page by page. I just want to get some snippets along the way. But I want to end with this part of the last chapter in this book, because it says this. He was in his room, and he had been talking to his grandfather, and he says, "I lay awake for a while, though, still excited by grandfather's words. He had planted some thoughts in my mind, some feelings about my country and what it meant to be a man. I loved his stories and the warmth and peace we had enjoyed while my mother was away." And that's the little chapter, the little paragraph of the chapter that brings me to the verse, Jeremiah 29:11. Look, man, God has plans for us. He says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Then you will call upon me and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. And you will pray to me." Once we realize that God has a plan for our life, maybe for some of us, the moment we realize God has a plan for our life, that may be the moment that we really start praying. And so even though Madeline Murray O'Hare may have taken prayer out of school and have been successful in that endeavor, she can't take prayer out of school. She can't take it out of me. She can't take it out. And even God stepped in and said, "Look, we're going to put FCA in there, and we're going to put First Priority in there, and we're going to put some kids in there." That the adults are so dumb that they go cause lawsuits and implement all this evil activity to get the good stuff out of the schools, but I'm going to call on the children and let them know that I have planned for their life. Just like he let William Murray know that even in the middle of his hell on earth and his family, and when you read it, you'll realize what a hellhole it was, that God found a way to put a little hope in there. A little hope. Man, hope. Hope springs eternal. Look at here. It's kind of cool too, because I'm on a baseball field up here at Beulah, and they say that baseball season, hope springs eternal every spring, you know. But it's not springtime now. But my point is hope. We all have hope. And that hope is Jesus Christ. And remember that he loves you. And remember that you're awesome.